can imagine that I would be somewhat evangelical about financial literacy. I believe it is such an important skill set and knowledge base for everybody, no matter where they work or what they do or how old they are. And so I'm always fascinated by how this topic gets taught, gets delivered, gets embraced by different demographic groups. And one that we're going to talk about today is the medical community. Stephanie Zhou is a physician. She is also someone who is very, very passionate about financial literacy and has done a lot of work to bring these kinds of concepts to medical students and to physicians themselves. She joins us now to talk about those efforts. Hello there.
Hi, Bruce. It's great to be on your show and to chat with you about this topic that I'm really passionate about.
I am someone who was raised by a doctor. My dad was a doctor. He had a very, very strong grasp of financial concepts, but I know that not all do. What do you notice that is different for medical students and for doctors themselves in terms of engaging in this idea of financial literacy? What's different with that group?
Yeah, so a lot of med students are very focused on their studies in medicine, so they barely have time to even think about what does a TFSA stand for? What is an ETF? Like those basic things in personal finance. And so they're so focused on being a good doctor for you as the patient. And not only that, medical school is very expensive. So on
Mm.
average, they come out with about 150,000 in debt
Wow.
from their line of credit. And the line of credits can be about up to 400,000 in loans in total that they can use. So you have people graduating from med school, very low financial literacy and very high debt, and also potentially high income. So they're
Mm.
very, good victims for predatory investments out there
Right.
wanting to, have hyped up returns that might overpromise, and they're very
Yeah.
tempted to go into those.
You're a doctor, you're a practicing physician.
Yeah.
What sparked the interest for you to actually develop something, for you to contribute in this way?
Probably, I would say I've been learning about personal finance earlier than medicine. And that's actually because of my immigrant background. I am a first generation student and I'm an immigrant. And so having parents who don't speak English, they brought me along because I learned English in school. And so I was there helping them with EI, helping them with, how do you even take out a loan? How do you do file taxes? I was going to the library and learning about that. And that's
Wow.
actually how I learned about personal finance myself. Then in medical school, I also went to the business school at Rotman too. I did that master's at the same time as medicine. And then now that I'm a staff physician, I created the financial literacy curriculum at U of T. And also we have, broadened that curriculum. We published about it and broadened it across to different schools. And then finally, I also developed the Canadian Physicians Financial Wellness Conference, which is meant to cover people who have graduated. They never got the financial literacy curriculum in medical
Mm.
school, but these are like early career, mid-career physicians who are really passionate about, improving their financial knowledge.
Tell me a bit about what the curriculum includes. So, say you're lucky enough to be in med school and you engage with that curriculum at that point in your career. What are some things that you will learn?
Like the biggest thing is about debt management. That's probably the
Mm.
biggest one. Affording medical school. And so this is around what kind of grants and scholarships are out there for you. There are also topics about investing and how to invest wisely and not get caught up in what's going on TikTok or, Instagram, YouTube, and so on. And then also we talk about the different types of financial professionals, like what does a banker do? What does an insurance broker do? What does a lawyer do? And so on and so forth. So that's kind of the gist of our financial literacy curriculum.
Financial advisors are pretty interested in attracting physicians as clients
Yeah,
because it tends to be a high salary field.
correct.
And it can be tough because a lot of those financial advisors charge pretty significant commissions or pretty significant fees. How do you cover that particular topic that's really relevant when you're earning a six-figure income? It's not relevant if you're earning much less, but it's the absolute dollars that you're spending are lower if you're lower income.
Yeah, so in one of our lectures, we talk about the scorecard, and it has 20 years of data where it looks at, actively managed funds compared to like a market fund. And we showed the evidence because a lot of doctors are familiar with practicing medicine based on research. So we
Right.
tell them the research in a way to teach them about how to invest wisely rather than being tempted into certain, more niche types of funds.
Yeah. And high fee things.
Exactly.
Yeah. You also referenced the financial wellness conference. How does
Mhm.
that work? Who attends? What kind of things do those folks learn?
Yeah, so this is a unique conference because it has three aims. The first is not only just providing the evidence-based financial knowledge, but the other aspect of it is more of like a community, developing a community of physicians, teaching other physicians. Also, sometimes we do have financial experts as well. So, for example, we've recently had like Ben Felix, he's a regular at the conference. We've even had Rob Carrick before as well. So physicians combined with financial professionals coming together to learn about personal finance. And the final important part of our conference is it's philanthropic. So we donate all of our proceeds. We don't have sponsors, we have donor partners. So anyone who wants to work with us will be part of our fundraising efforts. And just this morning, I was at the Toronto Stock Exchange making a $100,000 donation
It's great.
with the physician community. And the Sunnybrook CEO was there. Members of BMO ETFs, who is our donor partner, were there as well to
It's
contribute to
great.
the donation.
Uh, some doctors work in a salaried context. Many of them really are entrepreneurs. They run businesses, and how they do so can really determine how much they take home and are able to use to pay off their mortgage. Uh, where does that fit in terms of financial literacy? Is that in scope, or is that like, oh, you kind of need to go back and do an MBA if you're going to run a family medicine clinic?
Yeah, so just one change in wording is that a lot of family doctors aren't actually, or many doctors are not actually salaried. They are mostly fee for service. And a
Hmm.
lot of doctors are basically like sole proprietors.
Yeah.
So just like a bakery owner or a restaurant owner, for
Yeah.
instance, every patient they see, they get a certain rate that they bill the government, the OHIP billings. And so, yes, the big challenge with being a fee for service model is very much you have to be very efficient. And by seeing patients, that's how you get paid, but you don't get paid for time spent fixing billings. If the toilet breaks and that's in your clinic, you're spending time trying to find a contractor to fix it. All of those things that you think about when it comes to running a business, that sole proprietor would be doing themselves. And so, why can I even see my family doctor? Well, maybe it's because they're spending a lot of time on the running the business aspect of it that it eats into the time that they could have spent on the seeing patients aspect of it as well. So this is something we teach physicians about billing,
Yeah.
about practice efficiency, and how to be a business owner.
Mm. Uh, Doctors spend a really long time in school, and
Yes,
they don't generally start medical school even at the undergrad level. A lot of people have an undergraduate degree, some have a master's degree, and then they go to med school, and then they do a residency, and then they specialize. And so they start their career like full throttle, maybe into their 30s, maybe, into their later 30s.
that's true.
How do they think about retirement? And I am informed on this question by my dad's choice to retire in his 70s.
Mm.
So it's not like you punch the clock and then you're done at your 85 factor at age 55.
Yeah, so a lot of doctors start medical school anywhere between the age of 27 to their early 30s. So it's very later, much in life. And
Mm.
actually, they're not thinking about retirement, to be honest. What they actually are thinking about is when should I have a child? Because it's hard to have a child when you're still a student because there's no EI, there's no top up or any of
Yeah.
those like benefits. Oh, when should I get married? When should I find my life partner? They're thinking about that kind of stuff. When to buy my first home. So retirement is so far down the list. And only later they start thinking about that. And mostly they think about it when they're starting to burn out. And then by then, the time they can invest in their RRSP or in their retirement accounts is much shortened. And sometimes they're not retiring until 70, maybe because they might not be able to afford to retire earlier,
Mm.
or because they don't know what to retire to. Like so much of
Mm.
their life is medicine that, okay, well, I'm retired. What else can I do that's not medicine? I didn't have any time for hobbies because I'm so busy running a practice. And maybe that might be why so many physicians retire in their 70s, just because either, they've delayed so many aspects of their early, early life in their 20s and their 30s. And
Mm.
therefore, it just pushed everything forward. And then now they're in their 70s, and that's when they're thinking about retirement.
I will say in my dad's case, he is a man of service and he
Yeah,
really wanted to be of service for as long as he possibly could be and to do so safely. So he wasn't doing the high stress anesthesia in his 70s. He was doing like locums in eye clinics, but it was really important for him. It was being a physician. And I think this I don't know. I think this probably is true for many, maybe even most doctors. It's not just what they do, it's a self-expression. Is that an accurate
exactly. It's
statement?
when their identity as a physician is so tied in with themselves that now, if they're facing retirement, it's like, oh, what else can I be not other than a physician? And sometimes that could be it too. Yeah. And for people who really enjoy the medicine aspect of it and the whole service aspect of it, it is also very rewarding. Like seeing my own patients, being an addictions doctor, get better, like that is really amazing as well.
Yeah, as long as you don't have to do the 24-hour call when you're
Oh,
70
I've
years
done a
old.
lot of that
I'm sure
myself.
you
Yeah.
have. Stephanie, thank you very much for this conversation, but thank you very much for the contribution you're making to your community by making this available.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Stephanie Zhou is a physician. She is also a force in financial literacy, both for medical students and for practicing physicians.